Hey guys, Agent RPG here, and this week we do have a special news video. Sorry, it is a day late. Google Plus banned me on my Google Plus account, and it linked over to my YouTube account, so I was banned. But somehow I managed to make a couple of emails and explaining something, and magically everything gets fixed. So, welcome back. Today's special news video. We'll be talking about racing games, in particularly all the racing games from 2014 and 2013. So I came up here, I created this little graph, might I say, and it's basically my whole overview of racing games or games that they intended to have racing in a part of. So we'll start off with, we'll just do this year's for right now. Okay, so the higher number is the better game. So, and map overall. So Watch Dogs came in on top because it actually is very realistic. I've seen Chicago and stuff. Looks almost spot on. I mean, a couple tweaks, but that's in every game. Then I give it to Forza 5 next because the maps are really realistic. The Nürburgring or whatever, the really long map with over 120 turns, they got it pretty close spot on, even the graffiti or whatever you want to call it on the track. Next goes to Need for Speed Rivals. The map is huge, but it's so big I've not yet seen the whole thing. Apparently I haven't, so I'm fine with that. Just I wanted to see the whole thing, and you'd think by now I would have, since I've owned the game for over 6 months. Next goes to Grand Theft Auto 5. The game, it's been out there for a while, and it seemed great at first, but it got old fast. Like, you don't see anything new. There's not much land variety. You can go to Mount Chiliad, go on a small ocean, and that's about it. So they said that they were coming out with the idea of adding other places, but well, it's not here yet, so it doesn't get raised any higher. Next goes to map dynamics. What I mean by this, is it raining? Is it snowing? What's it doing? So first goes to Need for Speed Rivals, just because of the weather. The rain is very realistic. It splatters onto your screen, so then kind of drizzles down it, so it looks really cool and realistic, as if it was a front windshield. Next goes to Grand Theft Auto 5. The rain's really realistic. Kind of realistic. The game's somewhat realistic, but I have to say it's the next best, especially now that they added thunderstorms to it. Watch Dogs comes in at third because there's just so much rain. I feel like half the time it is either rain or nighttime, or it's just not that good. But the thing that did raise the map dynamics was the ability to raise bridges and stuff like that. Forza 5 comes in dead last because it is only sunny in that game. It's a racing game. They can race at night. They can race at almost any weather, most series at least. So without the exception of Indy cars and stuff, then I don't see an issue with it. Next goes to car choice. Forza 5 comes in on top just because I feel like they had the best variety of cars, really realistic. Next goes to Need for Speed. There was a few bit less cars, but there was still a lot. Then goes to Grand Theft Auto 5. I think it's clever how they didn't have to pay for the trademarking of car companies, and they kind of just tweaked the names, changed the car a little bit, and actually some YouTubers actually came out with videos featuring what the cars and all. Next goes to Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs, same car, it seems like every 5 cars. Not saying it's not like that for Grand Theft Auto 5, but they don't change in Watch Dogs a whole lot. Next goes to paints and decals. This is what you can do to change the color of your car. I'm not talking about the motor or anything. This is just color and decals. I accidentally flipped these. No, did I? No. Hang on. Yeah, these should be flipped. Crap. Again, these ones are going to be one-off then. That's okay. So, Forza 5 should have came in on first because you can actually make your own decals and everything like that. Oh wait, no, that was correct. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Never mind. Need for Speed came in first because you can actually put things on your car, like to ram into stuff and other things like that. And I'm counting this in this section because it doesn't do any good for your car, nor does it do really any bad for your car. It just kind of can make it look cool. It can help you personally, but not the car. So it's pretty good. There's like random things, spike strips, EMPs, a whole bunch of fun stuff. Next goes to Forza 5 though, because you can create your own car. You can have your own logos, your own anything. You'll see those. You've seen my pizza box car. I created that. They'll see more cars later this year. Keep an eye out for my Ford Transit van. You'll know it's mine. Next goes to Grand Theft Auto 5 because there's not a whole lot of mods. You can change the color on almost every car, and some have spoilers, some don't. It just depends on that game, like the car you have. Next goes to Watch Dogs because you can't do anything basically with a car in there. I don't know why they made a big push about the cars, but it was a fail. Next goes to motor improvements. Forza 5 comes out on top because you can go individually and add individual parts to a car, where in Need for Speed you can't. It's more goes up by levels, but that's still better than Grand Theft Auto 5 because Grand Theft Auto 5, it's the same thing for every car, where Need for Speed it's not. And then once again Watch Dogs comes in dead last just because they don't have the capability, I guess, or they didn't put it in. So currently we have Need for Speed coming out on first right now. And next, let's see about the bot cars. These are the computer cars that are just driving around, cruising. You can't. Something like Grand Theft Auto came in first because you can get in it, but they also talk and honk their horn and do stuff like that. Next, I would say came Forza because you have the Drivatar, so it's kind of a multiplayer thing, but kind of not. So I think that's really clever how they did it. You're not playing against always somebody else you know, but they have Drivatars which compile your history of racing, and it tries to make a bot based on that. Next comes in Watch Dogs. Tons of traffic though. I mean, at least I think there was. There's voices, and it can get a little annoying. But you can still get in the car. Need for Speed came in last just because there were so many cars. I feel like I can always, if I'm turning into an intersection, there's another car right there, and I'm going, oh crap, I can't stop. Next comes into multiplayer. First comes Forza 5. I mean, Need for Speed Rivals, because Need for Speed is the only game that at the time was all online. Watch Dogs, not really, because you didn't have somebody else in the lobby, where Need for Speed it was kind of required. Next comes Grand Theft Auto 5, because once it came out, it was pretty good. I mean, you could do drag race. There's tons of stuff you could do. Forza 5 came in third place just because multiplayer, it takes some time, because if you join while groups in mid-race, you just have to sit there. You can't watch them race. If I could watch them race or do something, it might be a little bit more interesting. Next comes Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs multiplayer. I don't care for it. You're probably thinking, geez, I really hate Watch Dogs. No, it's not a bad campaign. They marketed it as it, so just to show them that they marketed it as a racing game, they got into this thing, and I feel like it's okay to put their name in here and stuff like that. Next comes racing. This is just how well the racing atmosphere in the game is. Forza 5, all out. You can tell it's a racing game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a racing game. That's all you're there to do. Next comes Need for Speed. There's racing involved, but you can also be the cop and take on the opposite side and be for the law. Grand Theft Auto 5 comes in next. Racing is in it, and it is somewhat of a big thing. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to top any of the other two, so next comes in Watch Dogs, at which I already basically just talked to you guys about. Other car events, this is where I'm meaning, like, what else can I do with the car and the game? Is there anything other than just a race? I would say Forza 5 also came in first here because they have the lobbies that you can do tag and things like that in. And then next comes Need for Speed, because that cop atmosphere, that doesn't have to be racing. You can do a hot pursuit or something like that. That's not racing. That's almost like the opposite side of GTA. And GTA did come in third here because there are other events, but not really for cars. But I was meaning more the repos and GTA style races. Those are great in there. Next comes in Watch Dogs, which it's basically racing or driving. There's not much else. Next comes the design of the car inside the game. Forza, hands down, it looks realistic. I can't say anything more than that about it. Need for Speed Rivals, it's somewhat realistic, but not as the cars aren't shiny as much, or not. There's just something missing from the Forza link. Next comes GTA 5. The car design clever, but not realistic, and then Watch Dogs. It's Watch Dogs, so. Okay, the sound of the game. I'm more talking this year. We'll be talking about what can I hear, and so Need for Speed Rivals came in first because you can hear rumble strips, you can hear people's car horns, you can hear the car next to you, you can hear the car shifting gears, almost everything. While Forza 5, you can hear the gears shifting, but there's no horn, but the shifting does do a lot. You can hear the enemy, like the hits and stuff like that. That's what I'm more meaning. Next comes Watch Dogs, because the rumble strips, and when you go over bridges, because there's a lot more bridges than GTA, and the hum of the metal bridges is really cool. At least I think so. And then Grand Theft Auto, the rumble strips and stuff like that, but it was not enough to push it up. So, which came out on top was Forza 5, actually. Next came Need for Speed Rivals, and then GTA, then Watch Dogs. But this is just based on racing games. Now let's talk about 2014. Last night I was looking around on GameStop's webpage, and there's a new racing game that I missed from E3. It's called Project Cars. That's basically all I'm going to talk about. You guys can go and find it yourself. The Crew is also in here along with Forza Horizon 2. Drive Club's not in here because it's not an Xbox One game, nor is Need for Speed, because Need for Speed announced that they're not making a game for 2014. They'll be actually continuously working on the 2015 game. So Project Cars came out on top for the map overview because or overall, because it looked realistic. Looked a lot like Forza 5, how the map is. The Crew came in next because they actually show actual cities and actual places, but yet the game's not out, so I don't know how realistic that is yet. Next came Forza 5. I have no idea if that's a real place or anything like that. It very well might be, but it didn't quite look like it from the video, so it can get put in last place. Next comes Map Dynamics. The Crew came in first because of the variety of rain, the dust coming up off the ground, and almost everything. Next came Project Cars because you could actually see dirt flying if you went off the track, or you could see just burning rubber and everything. It looked somewhat realistic. Next game in Forza, yes, you have rain, but so do the other games now, so you're a little late to the show. Okay, next, the car choice. Nobody got a point here because the cars, they all look the same right about now. All but Project Cars, they did seem to have maybe rally cars and Indy cars, which is different than the two other games. Next is decals and things like that. The Crew show mods that you can put on the car, which look somewhat cool. Actually, not somewhat cool. They did look cool. Project Cars came in last because they didn't really announce it. They didn't show much. I can't really give out a point. Next comes Forza Horizon 2. Just because I wanted to get out some points, but they also kind of showed some differentials and made it look somewhat well. Motor improvements. The Crew made sure to tell you about that, and Forza kind of did, but not really, and Project Cars didn't at all, so they're just kind of there. So currently, the Crew's coming out on top, next Project Cars, then Forza. Bot cars, the Crew showed them. They looked somewhat realistic in the videos, and then I have to say, Forza's did look more realistic, which I couldn't quite decide, unfortunately. And Project Cars didn't show any bot cars whatsoever because it looked like a bit more of track racing. Multiplayer, Forza did come out on top because they did mention to say that it was all online, matching their enemy Need for Speed rivals from last year. But they're a little late to that show, but it's okay. I gave the crew second place because they showed online racing. That's the whole thing. You're supposed to be racing with friends. Never drive alone was their slogan. So, but it wasn't as enough. Their wording, might I say, in their videos wasn't as clever as Forza's. And then Project Cars, not enough said yet, so we'll figure that out. Racing, Project Cars came in first actually because I could tell that was a racing game from the beginning. Forza came in next because I'm like, oh yeah, that looks somewhat like a racing game. And then the crew came in last because I didn't know if it was another GTA or something like that. But yeah, it just depends. Other car events, we don't know about them yet, so nobody got a point. Car design, Project Cars had the most realistic looking cars in the lot. Next, the crew, because they looked phenomenal. And then Forza, I'm shocked because Forza usually comes out on top. But the sound of the videos and everything that was in there, the crew came in first because it seemed like you were there, might I say, which I know is the whole point of a video game, but they more hit the nail on the head. And next came Forza. You could almost seem like you're there. You could hear the gear shift, somewhat realistic, but the sound was okay. And then the Project Cars, I couldn't really hear the sound a whole lot. I could hear the gears changing in one of the scenes. The only thing I do give kudos for the first game I've ever really seen this in was Project Cars. You could actually almost see the G-forces. Very impressive. I hope to see more from Project Cars, and it might convince me to actually get their game. But currently, I'm sticking with the crew and Forza Horizon. Project Cars will be one I'm asking as a gift, but the crew is a definite one I know, and my friend Jack knows that because he knows I haven't shut up about it ever since I saw the video, and I keep asking him if he's going to get it. But I have to say the overall winner I'm expecting for this year, it's going to be a close race because the crew and Forza Horizon 2, they have very identical games right now, and this is just my opinion of it. You guys can have completely different opinions, but those two games, the crew and Forza, very close. The only reason why I'm not really talking about Project Cars is because Project Cars is closer to Forza Motorsport 5 or something like that. So it was a 1 year late almost for the running, but if they really wanted to do it well, they did show weather changes, which I hope they keep, and they needed to show a little bit more about their game. They only had three videos I think posted about their game on their webpage. So here's everybody's web pages. Everybody's getting hyped and everything. So yep. Forza Horizon comes out the first. Will be the first game that comes out of these. Then it'll drop down to the crew. I actually did sign up for the beta, and that will be announced next week. And if I did get into the beta, you'll for sure, hopefully, see some videos on it. And that's why I'm being careful. Not like my Google Plus account. We're just going to pretend does not exist because YouTube and all that fun stuff. And Project Cars here. Nice game and all. Their webpage seems like it was from 2005 or something though. The top looks great, but when you get down here, it's just like boring and graphics. So, hey, maybe you guys need to focus a hair bit on your web page. No offense, guys. It's just a little bland, a little boring. It looks like something worse than what I could have made. But my web page has technical difficulties right now. Yay, because I don't know how to fix it. I can't fix the header or whatever, this thing here. It's all screwed up and I can't get it to stay on this portion of the page. It runs all the way off. So I'm working on fixing that. New webpage though looks pretty cool. I have to add some videos to it, but it looks somewhat cool, I think. new webpage, new year. And also you can check out the Twitter page, which is hopping now. You can also see Facebook. Okay. Um, so here's the Facebook page. I have been focusing a bit more on the Twitter page though, because Twitter's a bit easier to use. Hey, there's the video right now. So you guys can, if we click this, we can be watching what I'm just doing right now again. Have a nice little loop, but I'm not. So needless to say, guys, I hope you all post in the comments what you guys think will be the top racing game for this year. Which ones you're pre-ordering, and why are you pre-ordering it? Because I'm a huge racing fan. I'm also a person who enjoys shooters, though, and it's hard for me to choose. So needless to say, guys, I hope you all remember to like and subscribe. Follow on Twitter, which is Agent RPG1. So there's a 1 on the end on Twitter, or just find Agent RPG on Facebook, or go to the links at the top of the channel, which they should be working, hopefully, maybe. Right here, you can find the links as well. The Twitch one is still linked to my old Twitch channel, so, and I haven't done anything on Twitch recently, but needless to say, guys, hope you all remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.